Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Universal Laws series. Today is Law 20. We are almost at our final law for the series. I can't believe it. The law of grace. So, welcome to the law of grace. I feel like even just saying it helps us understand just what grace is. Grace is the energy of slowing down, it's a surrender. And it's an incredibly important energy. And sometimes grace feels like an interruption, but then it slows. So let's talk about what grace is. And to help us understand just a little bit more what grace is, I want to talk about gratitude for just a moment, because gratitude is an attitude of grace. So, gratitude, if you think about it through that lens, gratitude is the thankfulness, the love of what is. My current life is filled with blessing. So what's happening right now, I am blessed, I am grateful, I am thankful, I love what is. Grace is a dropping into what is. Now, the law of grace is when you activate grace, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more specifically. When you activate grace, we'll just talk about the law. When you activate grace, you have access to a reset. You have access to shifting frequencies. So I want you to imagine for a moment just how our world works, that we have these timelines, we have these frequencies. They're actually not linear, they're spiraling energies. And so if you could imagine that every frequency is like a spiral of energy. And then above that is another spiral of energy, and another one, and so on infinitely. And then below that is a spiral of energy, and so on infinitely. And all of these frequency states are their own unique experience. And within each frequency state, you are flowing. You're flowing within a particular frequency state. So whatever that is, maybe you're 32.7, right? Whatever the frequency state is that you're in, it's made up of all of your beliefs and all of your feelings, the way that your mind and your heart have come together, the alignment that you're in plugs you into a flow of frequency. Now, that frequency, because of evolution, is constantly spinning faster and faster and faster. And you get into a momentum where you're more in that frequency, you're moving in that frequency, and you're fine tuning and you're getting clear about that frequency that you're in. So when you're in the speed of that frequency, it's really difficult to stop it, right? And so you've got all this momentum going. Now imagine that you're in a frequency of, I don't feel good, my body's not well, I have dis-ease, I was born with this condition, I have a chronic something or other, whatever it is, or this relationship just keeps going. I'm in this relationship and we just constantly argue, or I'm just so unhappy, or whatever it is. You've got a momentum, right? It's moving. You're in this frequency. Well, that frequency, you just keep circling around. You just keep circling around and circling around, and you repeat the pattern over and over again because you're in the frequency. You cannot shift until you shift frequencies, until you rise up out of it or down below it, right? You've got to shift the frequency. And to do that can feel very jarring when you're in momentum of another frequency. So the law of grace is, if you activate grace, you'll slow down your momentum like that. So this is your escape from momentum. This is your abort from momentum. Like, abort mission, abort momentum. This is so important. If you've got momentum with something that you don't want, you want to activate grace. Good morning. So grace is the simple act of whatever is. In this moment, I'm going to pause all of my thinking and all of my feeling, and I'm going to invite the feeling that everything is okay in this moment. That what is, and I completely surrender to it. Now, I don't surrender to it to stay in it. I surrender to it to slow the movement, right? So I'm slowing the movement. I'm surrendering into grace. Grace holds you and begins to slow you down, slow the momentum down until you can be in a place. It's the momentum of thought and feeling in your body. When the momentum of feeling and thinking in the body slows, you have an opportunity to leap. And this is what we spend so much time in Mind Shift doing, is we are moving from one timeline to the next. We activate grace to slow an energy down. We use specific techniques to come into alignment with what is and to fulfill the body with the feeling state that it wants, to shift the vibrational experience. So we are okay with what is. What is I'm frustrated. What is I'm disappointed. What is I feel alone. What is whatever that is. I acknowledge that in the body and I stop resisting. I stop having the momentum of resistance and I am with it. And that moment where you are activating grace is the moment you can choose a new timeline. So think divine timing. Divine timing is a timeline. And momentum is the place where you went from awareness, acceptance, self-responsibility. You chose it. You chose this relationship. You chose this healing state, this wellness state. You chose the financial state, whatever it is, you made choices that brought you here. And those choices became actions that were consistent, that became momentum, which means they're almost ready to transmute into something. And you can decide if it's going to transmute and you're going to repeat it, if you're going to experience the outcomes of it, the continued pain of it, the outcome of a health condition where it wants to go to the next extreme level. You've got the momentum and you're like, okay, I guess this is what it is. And you keep resisting it, and then you end up in surgery, or you keep resisting it and you end up in a volatile living situation with your partner. You resist it, and then you continue to experience more financial disruption. When you step back before the transmutation, you can exit out before the consequences. So it's a reset. It's a do-over. It's, wait a minute, I want to see, I want to break through. I want to clear this lesson. I don't want to have to experience this massive result that's coming. I don't want to experience these outcomes anymore, that I want to move out of this timeline. So you surrender into grace, and then you choose consciously the timeline you want to be in. So you surrender to what is, you're in that state of grace, you're loving what is, you're grateful for what is, you've got an attitude of grace, and you're open to, from this place of okay, everything's okay, what vibration do I want to be in? In what dimensional reality will I exist now? Where do I call my attention? And you begin to create a thought and a feeling state. You go back to awareness. From this place of grace, I now become aware of the frequency that I choose to live in, the momentum that I'm willing to create within the body, the feeling state I'm willing to put my attention and choices on, and you can begin the divine timing cycle brand new. But first, you must slow down and be with what is. You don't want to jump off the track. At momentum, you're on a speeding train going 1,000 miles an hour. Actually, you're going 286 miles a second, less than a second. Thousands of miles an hour towards an outcome. If you leap off that timeline, from that perspective of trying to make changes, trying to force changes in the physical world, you will experience pain from that, which is why the law of grace exists. You surrender to being on the speeding train, and when you do that, things move without you. They keep going and you slow down. And it gives you an opportunity to then choose a new vibrational frequency. And then you go from this spiraling energy in grace, you move into the center of it. You're no longer caught up in the flow. You move to the center of the energy. And then by selection of mind and heart, you can move up. And then you can join a new frequency. It's very literal. You join a new frequency, you leap the track, you move to a new timeline, but you do that through grace. So incredibly powerful law. It's a gift from us, from love, from God, from the universe, from source. It's a gift of redirection. but it comes from an interruption that is also not resisted, right? Because you become aware you don't want it, then you've become resistant to it, which actually contributes to the flow of the frequency. So you want to stop the flow of the frequency and be in grace. So grace is such a beautiful energy. Yeah. You're not caught up in the flow, but really tuning into the center of energy. Yes, you are coming into the center of all of it. You're just coming back to source. For those of you that cue, grace is I am that which I am source. All is well. There's nothing to change here, but everything to create and everything to select. I can choose my next experience, but I need to come back. I need to come back to center in order to choose again. So yes. Yes, you can call in that energy. I love that. You can change timelines. Yes, I love this question. So when you slow down the momentum, does that mean it can pick up just as quickly as it slowed down? Yes, this is what a lot of people do. They take a time out. They're like, okay, I need to go into meditation, and they step into grace and they don't choose again. And this is one of the most heartbreaking things that I used to do all the time is I would slow down. Then I would think, okay, well, I'm going to go back now and go fix that situation. I'm going to go fix my marriage. I'm going to go fix my body. I'm going to go fix whatever, which then brings me back to the timeline, and I'm in it again. And the momentum just picks up again. And then I resist it again. The solution is not within the problem. The solution is in a new frequency. It's just choosing something new. So if you don't choose something new and you go back to the old thinking you're going to change it, you are literally, as Einstein would say, insane. You're literally going back to the old mental pattern that created it and expecting a different result. But frequency cannot be different. Frequency is frequency, is frequency, is frequency. It is. You must shift out of it. And other people can join you in the shift, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes grace, when grace comes in and you accept that you're going to need to choose differently, sometimes people choose differently with you, and sometimes they do not. And you get to decide, is my life worth it? Is love worth it? Is the higher consciousness alignment worth it? Am I enough? Is everyone enough to choose whatever experience they want? Is it okay that people want to stay in that frequency and I do not? Is it okay that I want to be in this frequency and they do not? Does that make them lesser than, or me greater than, or me lesser than and them greater than? No, it does not. It makes you the chooser of your experience, and it makes you a creator. That's all it does. Every frequency is appropriate. Every frequency exists for a reason. You can be at whatever frequency state that you want. It's totally up to you. But your consciousness, your higher self, wants to continue playing the evolution game and continue to experience your life through a raising of consciousness, a moving through these fields, a moving through, wants a continual leap from one to the next, to the next, to the next, which is why grace has been coded in to say, I'm complete with this. So now let's take grace to the place of, I love my life. I love it. I love this timeline. I mean, it's beautiful. There's nothing that I would change except for I want more of this. So again, when I want more of this, it's at a different frequency. When I want more vitality, when I want more sensuality, when I want more financial play, when I want more of something else, then I shift to another frequency. I must still come into grace of, everything is great. I love what is. And I'm not inspired to go into grace because I don't like it. I'm inspired to go to grace because I do like it. Everything is beautiful, but I'm choosing something more, something beyond. And so then your consciousness, your thought, right? Simplifying. To raise your consciousness is to go into that state of grace, to choose a new thought, to choose a new feeling, align them, and then leap. To change timelines. It's so beautiful. So you're doing this whether you're in pain or whether you're in pleasure, whether you love your life or you don't love your life, grace is still the place. Grace is the place to be. All right, everyone. I hope you all have an amazing, amazing weekend. The energies are going to be incredibly potent for a deep experience of grace. This would be a great weekend to practice that, to really surrender to the grace of what would it be to raise my consciousness to a vibrational frequency where even more love soaked my life, where even more love was present. Invite in a surrendering to that, a surrendering to a new choice of, what if I chose to consciously move to a place where there was more love experienced through my life every day, and there was more love around me, and there was more love flowing through the people around me? What if you chose to move to that frequency this weekend? What if you allowed yourself to have that miraculous leap in consciousness and chose whatever states you wanted and just let yourself have a timeline jump, let yourself have a leap?